I have X amount of things that I want you guys to learn that I think are going to be really, really helpful tricks, tools, things that if you have a chorus but you can't get to that verse, how do you get to that verse? All those kinds of things. I want to tackle the difficulties of finishing pieces, getting through pieces. But I know everyone's going to have different genres they listen to, people they want to learn. So I kind of want to run the class like half the time. I'm going to show you some really cool tricks, theory-wise, composition-wise, but then the other half, I want to go over a track that you guys are into. So before I even forget, as part of your homework for today, I want you guys to email me 3 tracks, just links to the songs, MP3s, however you want to do it, so that I can then show them in class and I'll dissect them. So if you're just like, you know what, this new Calvin Harris song, it's like the best thing in the world, I need to know why is this so cool. I'll go through it. I'll show you all the harmonies he does. I'll show you any tricks that I'm like, okay, so look, he's doing this, 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 this. So by the end of the class, I will have gotten to I might not be able to get to everybody's 3 tracks, but I'll be able to get to at least a track for everyone. So choose something that maybe always fascinated you, like why do I always love this track, or why do I always love this composer, or anything that's going to really help you with your track. Because when we dissect it, the cool thing about it is you can, without having it sound anything really like it, you can use these tools and you can learn from these. And that's how art comes from art, right, guys? So it's not coming out of nowhere. So choose your songs carefully. Choose something that really moves you. We'll look at the chord progressions. We'll do all that. A little tiny brief bit about me. I've been composing forever and ever and ever. I'm classically trained. I went to school for classical composition and classical piano, so that's my background. I have my master's in composition and working on my PhD in composition as well. So I'm very classically trained. However, I also have gone to recording engineering school and all sorts of stuff because I found classical to be amazing, but also only one box that I wanted to see. So I have a total love for all kinds of music. So if you guys are rock, if you guys are EDM, whatever you are, I'm totally down for it. And I will, all of these tools, all of these little tricks I have for this year, it won't matter what kind of music you write. They're kind of universal tools. They're concepts that are global, that you can find in rock music, you can find in country music, you can find in Taylor Swift, you can find in Calvin Harris, you can find anywhere. So I don't want anybody to get too stuck up on, you know, the type of music, because we're going to be able to cover everything, I promise. I want to take this week, like this class and more so next class, to just clean up and just get everybody the same level. Since we're all coming from different classes, we're all coming from, some people have had more theory, less theory. I just want to get everybody on, like, make sure you know, like, these 5 things, so that when we talk about, like you were saying, you had a great comment, like, how do you make more complex chord progressions? Like, if everyone's okay with a 1 and 5, I'm going to show you how to make that 1 and 5 into 8 bars and make it cool and do it quickly. So, but I need everyone to know what a 1 and a 5 is. So, like, I want to take Wednesday, we'll do a couple little tests just to see, and we'll keep going with this, but maybe we'll come back. I just want to make sure everybody's sort of, you don't have to have everything memorized, but I want all of our vocabulary to be on the same page so that we can kind of move through, because all the tricks are going to be like, this class isn't sort of a in-depth theory class. That would be that would be like more of my basic theory. This class is like taking theory, but like really how to get through your song quickly, you know, how to get through stuff. We all have blocks. We all can come up with the first stuff and have like the first minute and a half be wicked, and then it's like, how do I end this? Or now I'm kind of like, okay, this is the best part, but I need to do something else with it. So it's like, I have so many private students that bring me these amazing tracks, and all they need is like a B section. And as soon as we come out with the B section, it's like, done, the track's done. So like, I want to go through all that stuff, but I just don't want to have too much hang up on theory. So we'll kind of go over all that. But yeah, no, I got you too. We're gonna make everybody's like time. When you sit down to write, I want you guys, if you come up with like blocks, to just have like a notebook full of like tricks. Can I use this trick? No. Can I use this trick? Yes. Okay. And you're going to have a list of things that you can just go through when you have a block or you hit some sort of like fork in the road. And you can just literally go through your notebook, and I promise you one of these things will work. So we're going to get to that. All right. Cool. Awesome. Yeah, that's my goal. My goal is to not, I mean, I can't even tell you how many theory classes I've had in my life. And I'm gonna like, I don't mean this in any negative way to all my theory classes that I've had, but I'm gonna kind of trim the fat. And I'm gonna try to use like, you know what, like I'm gonna show you cool concepts like counterpoint, but I'm gonna show you just like the general gist of counterpoint. I'm not gonna take you back to like, you know, the 1300s and all this stuff and show you all this other stuff. I'm going to show you like the idea of counterpoint. So you'll have these ideas, but I'm going to like spare you the history of all of it. And if you guys want the history of it, you can Google it and you'll find out all the history. But I'm going to show you why it is cool and how to use it. Like make everything very usable. My biggest thing when I teach, and I tell everybody this too, like stop me immediately if something feels like I'm not, like I always want you to see why something's important. So if I'm talking about a chord progression, you're just like, I have no idea why I care. Like stop me, because I do everything that I'm going to talk about in this whole course. Like I have so much more, but I limited it to this. Like it has an importance. So I always want everyone to understand like where you can use it, when you can use it. I want everything practical. Nothing like too spacey and theory-wise. I want everything super practical. So if anything's not clear, like call me on it immediately, because my point is that you can take all of these things and walk with them and have them all usable and nothing read like stereo instructions. So we're going to do like have a big review week this week. I want to go over chords, all that stuff. Then next week I want to work on, our topic's going to be like how to write a strong melody. A lot of times people kind of can fool around on the piano and come up with little melodies or come up with things, but I want everyone to have more knowledge of how to write it so that you kind of take the guesswork out, because waiting to have a melody when you're playing around on the piano can take a long time sometimes. So if you have 2 hours, I want you to be able to have a couple little checklist things to be like, what do I want my melody to have? So we're going to kind of have a big melody kind of session next week, talk all different kinds of melody. And I'm hoping with some of the tracks that you guys send me or post that I'll be able to pull from those. It's like, okay, look at this. This is wicked. Like, watch this melody. So send me in, you know, send me all your tracks, and I'm going to try to pull from those tracks as well. But so next week's going to be melody. Then let me get my little syllabus. Then the third week, we're going to do chords, chord progressions. I have a ton of DJ students that come to me. They get the vocal track, right? And they want to make a remix. But the problem is sometimes their chords not matching up to their melodies, right? Because they kind of are guessing, they're playing around, and sometimes it's totally awesome. But every once in a while they'll be like, I love all 4 of these chord progressions, but this one chord in here, I don't know if it matches. So I want to just dive really deep into how to write good chord progressions, whether they're relating to a melody you already have, if you're given something for a remix, or if it's a melody that you wrote, whatever it is. If you have a wicked melody, I want to show you easy ways to just snap in chord progressions so that you're not sitting there like testing it for 5 hours, right? So we'll do big chords, chord progressions, all that stuff. Also, if you know, sometimes people have a really cool chord progression, but it's maybe 1 bar or 2 bars. But like if you have an 8-bar loop or you have something like that, like how do you take that chord progression and then not give me a new idea? Like how do you make that longer? So we're going to look at like how to take a small chord progression and double it in size, but keep it all in the same thing. Like not make a chorus, or not make something, not have a B section or a C section, but have like, how do you just prolong it? Okay, so we'll do that chords. Then week 4, I'm psyched for week 4. I'm going to show you a ton of classical music secrets, and they occur. I'm starting to see them more and more and more in all the music that's coming out. I hear it on the radio now. it's these little tricks of orchestration. So counterpoint, parallel motion, all these tricks you can use in your voice, you can use in your chords, you can use them suspensions, anticipations. If you don't know what I'm saying right now, do not worry, I will go over all of that. But they're these little tiny tricks that take a basic melody or a basic chord progression and just snap it up one more click. So it's just, sometimes you listen to, you know, these tracks and it's just like things are just on point. They're like they're little tiny nuances and you don't even know why it's so great, but it's just so great. These are these little things. Counterpoint are very sneaky. You almost don't even know it's there until you start to analyze it, and then you're like, oh my God, that's counterpoint. That's there. And that's why these tracks feel big. So before you even get to the mixing table, before you even get to the mastering table, I will show you tricks of how to make your, like, just your track thick and sound. And then you can go to the mixing table and go even further. But I want you, before you even go there, to have a track that just not turning up the volume, but turning up the composition volume of like how to make that thick and lush and like intense. So those are things like counterpoints, suspensions, all that stuff. This is all going to come into it. So that's week 4. Week 5 is going to be a little overflow of that. It's going to be more orchestration stuff. We'll talk about variations. We're going to talk about bridges. Week 6 is my coda and my chorus week. We're going to analyze choruses. I want to show you guys, if you have a chorus and it comes back 4 or 5 times in your track, I want to show you little tiny things to do to your chorus to just keep it going. So every time it comes back, there's a little something different. There's a little something added to it. Keep that listener engaged. I don't want anybody to ever feel like, oh, he or she just copied and pasted that chorus, right? No. You can copy and paste that chorus, but I want you to do one little tiny thing just so it sounds even more, and you took us somewhere else, and you kept this journey, right? Our piece should never feel like just like this. It should feel like it's going somewhere, it's going somewhere, it's going somewhere, and keep it building. And you don't have to do big things, little tiny things. So that's my chorus one. I also want to talk about, too, I bet, with all the tracks that everybody's sending, I bet we're going to see a bunch of different kinds of chorus, right? Because I'm seeing now choruses that are just almost instrumental. I'll come with some very specific things, but there's just a bunch of things where there's like one word or a very short sentence, and then there's an instrumental chorus. So we're going to kind of explore different kinds of choruses to get you thinking outside the box of just, okay, it has to be this exact way, right? So we'll do that. Codas, we're going to talk about bridges, we're going to talk about codas. This is something so important and gets missed all the time. If you do not have a strong coda or bridge, depending on how you want to call it, it's the same sort of thing, it makes or breaks a piece. It can take your piece to like the next level easily by having a coda and a bridge. And it can be very difficult to figure out where to go because it can't match anything before it. That's the point of it. It has to take us to a little, take us left, take us right very quickly. So we'll do codas. Then week 7 and week 8, if everybody wants to. If you don't want to, it's fine. But I would like to hear some of your tracks. I'd like to work on them with you. I'd like, if it's possible, you know, to send a track and be like, here's my A section. You know what? I have nothing. Where's B? I have no idea. And I will help you get through it. I'd like to see if you want to. If you guys don't want to share it, that's totally fine. Totally fine. But I want to give everyone a chance to bring their music. We'll work on it. We'll try to look at, does any of these, you know, things that we've talked about so far, could any of them work for this, or however you want to work on it. But I want to make sure we have enough time to work on tracks, because I personally, in all my composition classes I was a student in, I felt it very helpful to learn from my own music, because at the end of the day, I'm at the piano writing on my own music. So it was helpful to me to have people sort of say, okay, you know, move this around or do this, or this, you're stuck here. So I want to leave some time open to that. If you don't want to do your exact composition, if you want to send me a track instead, we can also just go over that. So week 7 and 8, that's sort of what I'm hoping to get. But if I left anything out that you want to learn, email me, let me know. I have a lot to talk about, but I'm super flexible. I want you guys to learn everything you want to learn. I don't have a major agenda, so let me know. I'm totally open to all of it.